A volley of arrows slicing through tear gas launched by Brazilian police. Dozens of indigenous protesters blocked a highway on the outskirts of Sao Paulo Tuesday as lawmakers voted to limit the designation of their protected lands.
We are from these lands and we will resist. We will not accept violence.
Resistance and land demarcation now.
The bill passed by Brazil's lower house of Congress would make it so that new reserves can only be established on land that was occupied by indigenous people in 1988, when Brazil's current constitution came into effect. But critics point out that some areas weren't occupied by indigenous people at the time because they'd been expelled during the military dictatorship, which had ended just several years before. Around a third of Brazil's indigenous territories have yet to be formally recognized, and the new requirement will make it hard for President Lula da Silva to fulfill his promise of protecting them.
We're going to have to work hard so that we can recognize as many indigenous lands as possible.
Lula is seeking to undo the damage of his predecessor, Jair Bolsonaro, who oversaw a surge in illegal logging and mining in the Amazon. But Brazil's Congress remains dominated by conservatives, and the legislation was fast-tracked after pressure from Brazil's powerful agricultural lobby. The bill still has to be approved by the Senate. Lula could then refuse to sign, but Congress could override his veto. Meanwhile, the issue of indigenous land recognition is also being examined by Brazil's Supreme Court.